All right, let's do this. Marketo People Performance Reports with custom columns. What is that and why is it cool? Let's take a look. First off, we're here in Analytics, and here you can see the various report types Marketo has to offer. If you create a report on Marketo, you should have an idea what outcome you desire. For instance, if you create an email performance report, what you're going to get is a list of emails. If you do a web page activity report, what you're going to get is a list of web pages. If it's an email link performance report, the output you're going to create is links. We're looking at people performance here, so the result that we're going to get, what we're going to create in our report is people, but not lists of people, but people in numbers. Let's take a look at that and see how this works. So people performance. First thing you do if you come from the global tile from reporting is you go to report actions and say save as. Save your report in groups, save it in a folder, it's a person report. And let's call this now, okay, this is a little silly, okay? First name. Bear with me. I hope this is going to make sense soon. Now let's take a look at our report and go pretty much from right to left in order to create it. Not starting with subscriptions, that's something later on. Start with setup. First item on the list is person created at. I found myself more often than not using person created at all time. You might have a good reason to create a filter on person created at, but I leave it at all time for now because I'm looking at something else. Secondly, you have to group your person report. That is I found that to be a little annoying over times because you cannot not group your performance report. So you have to group it by something. And what you can group it by is pretty much any database field. Let's stay with created at, which is the default section. And here in the measurement unit, you can look at years, quarters, months, weeks, or days. We leave this at years for now, just to see what it returns. Opportunity columns are hidden. We're not going to talk about this right now. Export rows available. Let's leave it at that. Our report is going to be way shorter than 5,000 lines. And here already in the right-hand menu, you see custom columns. We'll talk about this in a second. Let's go over to Smart List. These person performance reports, as some report types also have a option to filter here by Smart List. So you can create like any Smart List filtering that your heart desires. In my specific case, I leave this open for now. I come back here in a second. It's a very powerful section and you will often use it. Let's see what this report returns. As I told you, it will create people in numbers. You see here, person created at all time. This is a setting we set in setup, and it's grouped by created at. And you see 12,000 people were created in 2020 and 160,000 in 2021. Easy enough, right? If we wanted real quick to change the group by with a different unit and go to quarters, so let me tell you how this looks because this can be a little confusing. Oh, no, this is fine. It shows you Q3, Q2, Q1 2021, and Q4 2020. So there are no entries earlier than Q4 2020, which means the database was set up then and not before that, or no person was added to the database before Q4 2020. Let's take a look at months real quick because that's, I guess, what I wanted to call out as looking a little bit silly. Okay, that's fine too. I might scrap the whole section. All right, this is how this looks. Okay, fair enough. Let's go back to created at month by years, and let's go to the smart list section real quick. So let's create a silly little filter because our report is named first name, so we have to live by that. And we are saying my first name, excuse me, should either be Thomas or Claudia. So what you can expect right now is the same kind of report. You will see the same things, but very different numbers because we are filtering down on only first names Thomas and Claudia. Okay. Numbers are way smaller, of course. That was to be expected. But still, a decent amount of people have that first name. All right. Fair enough. Let's go to custom columns right now. So what is a custom column? A custom column is a smart list that lives outside of this report. Smart lists can live in two places. They can live in marketing activities and they can live in database. Either place is fine to be used as a custom column in a report, but the name of a smart list in database is smart list name, whereas the name of a smart list in marketing activities is program name dot smart list name. And as we are using these smart lists as the heads of our columns, we want to have them brief. So don't create your smart list in marketing activities, create them in database. Let's go over to database and see what I mean. One thing first, if you look at any smart list, usually there is a tab here, which is called used by. Okay, this is not in use right now, so it was used for something else. Just one caveat here real quick. If you use your smart list in a report as a custom column, the tab used by is still going to be empty. So Marketo does not recognize that the smart list is used. That might lead to some people with a sense of order, if you go through your database and see, okay, which smart lists are in use and which are not, to think that the smart list that you're using in your custom column as a custom column is actually not in use, which is not true. So my recommendation would always be create a folder in your database by the name of custom column. Oops, shouldn't be here, should be here. Right. Okay, let's start with a smart list, which now is going to serve as my new custom column. Let's start with the first one. And the name of the smart list, again, is the head of the column. So let's call it Thomas. And in my smart list, I'm going to say the same thing. First name is Thomas. Let's create a second one of the same sort right away, just to see what it does. Go to clone smart list to make it a little quicker. The name of this smart list is going to be Claudia. And in my filter, yeah. All right, I've created two custom columns, one by the name of Thomas and one by the name of Claudia. Let's go to our report, go to custom columns and see if it finds it. Thomas, Claudia. I've added smart list columns to my report. Okay, custom columns, and I selected Thomas and Claudia. There's still something in my smart list, which I don't necessarily need. Let's go to my report. How does it look? Looks like this. You can grab the column head and move it to a place that is more suitable for you. And if you right click, you could also remove customs. You cannot remove column heads to be precise. You cannot remove Thomas and Claudia because these are custom columns in your report, but you might as well remove the total people section if you wanted to. I don't know if you wanted to. So what are we seeing? We're seeing that of the 4,949 people created in 21 by the first names Claudia or Thomas, 300 are Claudias and 4,600 are Thomases. If we remove in the smart list setup the first name filtering, the smart lists, the custom columns themselves should not change because nothing changes specifically to these smart lists. Take a look. There we go. Claudia, Thomas, and only the total people number has changed because we're not filtering anymore of people only listening to the first names Thomas and Claudia. Right? Okay. I told you this is a little silly, right? And you would not do this for your reporting. Now let's come up with something meaningful. And I'm going to change the name of my report from first name to email frequency. Okay, that was just a name. I'm going back to my database sections and I'm going to kill these custom columns. They're not good. Let's start with Claudia in the smart list. So what I want to see now is how many people in my database received how many emails? What is their frequency? Are we potentially oversending? Might there be people in our database who receive way too many emails just because they qualify for too much? You know, something like this. And what is like the distribution of email frequency through our database? So I'm starting with a custom column that I'm going to call greater than 5. And in my smart list section, I'm going to remove Claudia and say was sent email. Email is any. And I'm going to make the activity the possible longest. You know, after 90 days, the was sent email activity is being purged from the lead activity or from the activity history. So this is the longest we can look at was sent email with conviction. Let's not talk about this too much. And I'm going to add the minimum number of times, and that is going to be 5. So this report pretty much tells me, or the smart list pretty much tells me how many people have received more than 5 emails. No, at least 5 emails. I guess the minimum number of times would be 6, right? To be in line with the name. So it's bigger than 5. Minimum number is 6. Let's see how this looks. If you make a quick check on the smart list result itself. Okay, there are some people who received more than 5 emails in 90 days. Let's clone this real quick and make a second one greater than probably. And the minimum number of times would be 4. Clone this again. Call this, let's say, greater than 1. Probably just 1, I don't know. Greater than 1, so the minimum number is 2. And let's also create one custom columns, and we're going to go over to Thomas and say 0. And in your smart list, we're saying not was sent. Not was sent any email in the last days. See, the left-hand side of the tree has not refreshed, even in Sky UI. Okay, we have new custom columns. Let's take a look at our report. In our smart list section for email frequency, we're going to look at only at people who have received. No, let's leave that aside. Go to setup and start with the custom columns right away. So we need one that's called 3. We need one that's greater than 1. There is one that's called 0. It's not right. No, probably not. Let's see. Probably not a good name. Or I haven't refreshed correctly. Because this is still called Thomas. Let's refresh this page. thought I had renamed. Oh, I couldn't rename it because 0 was already taken. Is that the case? Okay. Let's say smaller than 1 or okay, that's better. There we go. Let's take a look. So one thing to note here, okay, this is fine. Greater than 5, greater than 3, greater than 1, nothing. And I'm going to remove total people. Probably I'm not going to remove total people. Here's my report. That's what it is. What do you say? Yeah, no. Okay. One thing to note, I think, which is interesting for this specific database is that 138,000 out of 162,000 people have not received any email in the past 90 days from this database. So that might be something to look at. You see, of course, the numbers greater than 1. Oh, let's put it this way. Greater than 5 also includes, of course, greater than 3, logically, right? So the 271 here are also part of the 1,038 here, and the 1,838 are also part of the 11,000 here, right? So that is, so we see pretty much like a natural progression going from low to high. If we look at the frequency, yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. A very unique report type with a very unique result you could not achieve in any other way from Marketo.